Hello and welcome to ICSE Computer Applications for Class 10. This is part 2 of revision of work done in Class 9. Okay, what we learned in the previous session. Number 1, we did about data types. Now data types, that is the primitive data types in Java, are byte, short, int, long, float, double, char and boolean. So these are the 8 primitive data types in Java. Naming conventions, we already understood that all classes would start with the capital letter. The names would start with the capital letter. Rest everything will be starting with a small letter. Numbers of other number systems, yes, we did this also. So we did numbers of octal number system and hexadecimal and binary number systems. Using underscore while writing a number in a program. So when a programmer wants to write a large number and he actually wants to put commas in between, he can put underscores instead of using commas. And last of all, we did variables. We'll be doing variables later in this session also. Okay, let us start with this session. Now what will be done in this session? We are going to do operators. First of all, arithmetic operators, that is unary, binary and ternary. Then the comparison operators, greater than, less than, greater than, equal to, less than, equal to and not equal to. Logical operators, that is and, or and not. Lastly, assignment operators, that is equal to, plus equal to, minus equal to, star equal to, slash equal to and modulus equal to. Display something on the screen using system.out.print or println. And input using buffered reader class and input using scanner class. These things actually you have done in class 9. We are doing only revising, so naturally we will be doing it in a fast track kind of a manner. Now operators and operands, let us understand these first. When you write, for example, 2 plus 3, here the plus is the operator. That means this is the operation being performed. And what is this operation being performed on? It is being performed on 2 and 3. So 2 and 3 are the operands and plus is the operator. Okay, so 2 and 3 are operands, plus is the operator. If an operator requires a single operand, it is called a unary operator. For example, if I just write a plus 3 or if I just write a minus 3, so that means I have not put a second operand, so we will call this as a unary operator. If an operator requires two operands, that is the example given above, that is 2 plus 3, it is called as a binary operator. And if it requires 3, it is called as a ternary operator. Please remember, in Java, like many other languages, there is only a single ternary operator, that is the question mark colon. We will be doing in a few seconds. Now operators. Operators that we will be doing are unary, that is plus minus, plus plus and minus minus, and binary given, and ternary, that is given here. Ternary is actually a question mark and colon. Alright. Okay, let us see this program. I have in the main function, I've written 3 statements: system.out.println minus 3, plus 3 and a minus 3. Now please remember, I did not write minus 3, I have written minus space minus 3. Now the first line says minus 3, so minus 3 is basically unary operator, and it is basically making 3 as a negative number. And the second one, plus 3, it is taking 3 as a positive number. Although we need not write the plus here, but if we do write, it becomes a positive 3. And if I write a minus space minus 3, so minus 3 is a unary operator which makes 3 as a negative number, and if I write minus of that negative number, it will become a positive number. Let us just compile it and run it. When we run this program, it displays 3 numbers, minus 3 and a 3 and a 3. Please remember, it will not show a plus 3 there. Plus 3 is by default, any number without any sign is taken as a positive number. So the first one is showing as a minus 3, yes, minus 3. Second is showing as a 3, that means it's a positive 3. And the last one is showing as a positive 3, because it is a negative of a negative number. In the second program, I have taken a variable called x, given it a value 10, and I have written x plus plus. X plus plus now is a unary operator, which is basically increasing the value of x by 1. And what do you think it should display when I say system.out.println x? It should display 11, okay, because x has been increased by 1. So this is what it displays. It displays 11. Now what happens if I change this and make it as plus plus x? So will there be any difference? Now this plus plus x right now is called as a prefixed operator. Prefixed plus plus operator. Okay, the previous one was postfixed. Now will there be a difference between the previous display of x here and the display of x now? Will there be a difference? Let us see. Let us compile and execute. It has displayed, and it has still displayed 11. Now, two things to understand here is plus plus x is a unary operator. Second is plus plus comes in two forms, that is a prefixed form and a postfixed form. What is the difference between a prefixed and the postfixed form? Let me make it very clear to you, is that if in a statement the plus plus is the only thing that is written in the statement, then there is no difference, as you just saw. That means when I wrote x plus plus and later on I displayed x, it still displayed 11. And when I say plus plus x and display x, it again displayed 11. So what is the difference between the two now? So when a plus plus is the only statement written in a line, in a statement, then there is no difference. But if there is something else being done in the same statement, for example, if I write y is equal to plus plus x, and then I try to display x and y. Now see what happens now. There are two things happening in this line now. One is that it is being increased by 1, and second is the value is being assigned to y. Now what happens first and what happens later depends on whether it is a prefixed or a postfixed. If it is a prefixed, that now what happens is x will be increased first and then it will be assigned to y. So that means x becomes 11 first, and then 11 is assigned to y. Let us see how the compilation, how the run happens now. Now if I display the statement now, is 11 is displayed for x and y. Now what happens? X is being increased by 1 first, that means x becomes 11, then x is assigned to y. So both of them will be 11, 11 each. Let us make it postfixed. If I make it postfixed, then what happens? When I run this program now, it will actually display 11 and 10. X is ultimately going to increase by 1, but why is y getting a value of 10? Is because plus plus is now a postfixed operator. Postfixed means it will let the other thing happen first. That means it will assign the value of x to y. What is the original value of x? That is 10. So 10 is assigned to y first, and then it is increased by 1. Okay, I hope this program is clear to you. The minus minus operator works the same way as the plus plus operator. It also has two versions, the prefixed and the postfixed versions. Now the binary operators plus, minus, multiplication, division and modulus, these are self-explanatory. All are binary, they need two operands. 2 plus 3 gives a 5, 3 minus 2 gives a 1, and so on and so forth. Plus, minus, multiplication, division should not have any problem. With the modulus operator, yes, many people do not understand what it is. So the modulus operator basically returns the remainder of a division. So let us see this program in working first. Okay, let us see this program. This program has two variables, x and y. Both are int variables having values 10 and 3. If we try to display system.out.println x%y, what is it going to display? When you divide 10 by 3, what is the remainder? 3 3s are 9. There is one balance. So the balance is 1. So let us try to compile this program and see what does it do. Compile and run this program. So if we see the result is a 1. So this is the result of this program. Okay, now it doesn't matter whether the things that you are actually trying to divide are integers or floats or whatever. It will give you the remainder of a division. Let us create y as a float variable. So if I say float variable y is equal to 3.1. Okay, first of all, is this program going to run anyway? It is not. It is showing an error over here. It is saying incompatible types. That is, it is not able to convert from double to float. We know that if we have a fractional number and it does not have a d or f after this, it is automatically taken as a double value. Now it is not able to store a double value into a float variable. We also know that we cannot store a bigger value into a smaller variable. So what do we need to do? If I need to use a fraction, we'll have to put an f over here to indicate that this is a float value. So when I now say x%y, so 10 divided by 3.1, so whatever is the remainder of this division, it will display that. Okay, so it is 0.7. Okay, I hope this program is clear. Now we have done unary and binary operators. The third one is the ternary operator. A ternary operator is also giving us a result, and let us see what the result is going to be. Okay, let us see this program now. This program is using the ternary operator expression. You know that ternary operator is a question mark and a colon. Now a question mark, this entire expression is basically divided into three parts. The first part is a condition, and if this condition is true, the second part is returned, otherwise the third part is returned. You can see the first part is the condition, the second part is an expression or a value, and the third part is also an expression or a value. So is this, first of all, is this condition true or false? Is 10 greater than 3? Yes, it is true. So if it is true, then x will be assigned what? X will be assigned 2, because the result of this entire expression is going to be 2. Now please remember, the result of this entire ternary expression is going to be either of the two values, and that is on the either side of the colon sign. Okay, either it is going to be 2 or it is going to be 5. So if I now display x over here, what do you think it is going to display? Let us compile this program, run this program, and see the result. The result is a 2. X has got a value of 2. Now we had put two values here, that is, I had put a value of 2 and I put a value of 5 here. Could we have given an expression here? Yes, I could have given an expression like 4 minus 3 over here and 5 plus 2 over here. What do you think will be the value of x now? It is going to be 4 minus 3, that is 1. So x is going to be 1 over here. Let us run this program and see what does it display. It displays a 1 over here. What if I change this sign to a less than sign? Is 10 less than 3 now? No, the condition is false. If the condition is false, now this expression is going to return a 5 plus 2, that is a 7. Let us run this program again and see what is going to happen. The answer is a 7. I hope the ternary operator is a little clear to you. Okay, I won't say that you will be very thoroughly clear with this, but anyway, we'll go about this a little later also. Next are the comparison operators. Comparison operators basically compare data. Comparison means I want to check whether one value is greater than the second value, or less than a second value, or less than, greater than, equal to, less than or equal to, not equal to, or equal to. I think these are self-explanatory. I don't need to explain them any further here because you have already done those. If there is any problem in these, you can put the thing in comments. I will explain them also. The logical operators. The logical operators are 3: and, or, and not. The first one is and. What is and? What are these operators? These operators are used to combine multiple conditions to result in a single Boolean value. Okay, so this means if you have multiple conditions and you want one Boolean value out of all the conditions, so you can use the and, or not operators. The first of the logical operators is AND operator. This operator is used to combine two conditions in such a way that the overall result is true only when both the conditions are true. So that means if you want that there are two conditions and something should happen only when both the conditions are true. Let me just take an example here. For example, if you want to go to a movie, and you can go to a movie only in two conditions, and those two conditions are that it should be a holiday on that day, and you should have money to go to the movie. Now, if you have money and you don't, this not a holiday, then you cannot go to the movie. So that means the two conditions, that is the holiday and money in your pocket, both the conditions have to be true in order for the movie to happen. Okay, so if any of these conditions are false, or both the conditions are false, the movie cannot happen. Okay, so if the first condition is true, second is false, it results in a false. False true is also false. False false naturally is false. True true is true. It has to be, both the conditions have to be true. The second is the OR operator. The OR operator actually works with two pipes. These are two pipe symbols, and the two pipe symbols work with the shift key on the backslash. Sorry. Okay. The OR operator basically is also used to combine two conditions, but in this case, OR actually means any of the conditions have to be true in order for things to happen. So these two, the OR operator is used to combine two conditions in such a way that the overall result is false only when both the conditions are false. Otherwise, it's always true. So that means if any of the condition becomes true or both become true, then the overall result is a true. Let us take an example again. You want to go to a movie, and you can go to a movie when either you have a credit card in your pocket or you have cash in your pocket. Now, if you have cash in your pocket, it doesn't matter whether you have credit card. You can still go to the movie. If you have a credit card and no cash, still you can go. If you have both, very good, you can go and eat also. But if both the conditions are false, you don't have any money in your pocket and you don't have a credit card, which is normally a situation with you guys, then naturally no movie. Okay, so true false gives a result as true, false true, true, false false is false, and true true is naturally true. Logical operators, the last one is the NOT operator, and the NOT operator basically is used to negate a condition. That means it gives the reverse of a boolean. So if the result of a condition is true, it becomes false. If it is false, it becomes true. So it is basically used to negate a condition. So not true becomes false and not false becomes true. Now as you can see here, not operator is actually a unary operator. So that means there are no two conditions here. It actually is not on the left side and there is a condition on the right hand side. There are no two conditions on both the sides. Okay. Next are assignment operators. Assignment operators are the simple equal to sign which assigns the values from the right hand side to the left hand side. Now the rules is on the left hand side of the equal to sign, you always have to be some kind of a container. Normally it is a variable. It could be an array element, it could be something like an object, but it has to be a container on the left hand side. But it can have a container, a constant, an expression on the right hand side. Next is plus equal to operator. Plus equal to is basically used to accumulate. So if x has a value of 10 and you write x plus equal to 2, x now becomes 12. Minus equal to is an accumulation with subtraction. This is with multiplication, this is with division, and this is with modulus. This is with the remainder now. Okay, rules of assignment. You can assign only compatible data types. So that means you can assign an int to an int, or a float to a float, or a double to a double, and so on. You can basically also assign a smaller value to a larger variable. For example, you can store a float value into a double variable, or an int value into a long variable, but not the vice versa. You just saw in one of the programs. Okay. Among the numeric data types, double type is considered the highest and byte the lowest. So double is the highest. Below this is float, then long, then int, then short, then byte. So byte is the smallest and double is the largest. Now please remember, int and float have the same size, but float is considered the larger one. So if there are two variables or two data types having the same size in memory, the one with the decimal point takes precedence, it is higher. Similarly with long and double, although both of them are of the same size, but double is larger. A higher data type cannot be assigned to a variable of lower data type. We have done this. Now, very important, short and byte data types are always promoted to an int if used with binary operators. Now, this means if you have a short variable or a byte variable and you use them in an expression with binary operators, they are always promoted to an int. Let us see this with an example. Okay, let us see this program. In this program, we have taken three short variables, and the variables are x, y, and z. X and y have a value of 10 and 4, and z does not at the moment have any value. Now, if I write z is equal to x plus y, now on the face of it, should not have any problem, because 10 is a short value, y is also a short value, z is also a short value, and a short plus a short should be able to be stored in z, which is also short. But this is going to be causing some problem here. So what is the problem here is, okay, now it says incompatible types, possible lossy conversion from int to short. Now by the way, I did not create any int over here. X is also short, y is also short, z is also short. So where is the int coming from? The int is coming actually from the result of this expression. Because I have used a binary operator, that is a plus sign here, because I have used a binary operator, x plus y, which is 14, is automatically converted into an int value. This is what I said earlier when we were looking at the slide. And z cannot store an int value. That is the problem here now. Okay, so how do we go about storing it? Okay, let us understand some things here also. The result of x plus y is actually an int. So I convert it into a short. I'll say short x plus y. Now there is no problem in this line now. I can display z here. Now see what is happening here. X plus y actually gives a short, gives an int, and I have typecasted it to a short. So what I did right now is something called as a typecast. Okay, I have typecasted the result of x plus y into a short. And how do we write this typecasting is by putting them into brackets outside the expression. Alright, and is equal to z. Fine. No worries here. So this is going to give me, there is no error in this program. I have compiled it, there is no error. Okay, what if I remove these from here? It still is there is still a problem. What is the problem now? Right now, what the computer is now trying to typecast x as a short. It is already a short, by the way. So it is not typecasting the result of x plus y as a short. It is now trying to typecast x as a short. Okay, so the error results over here. Okay, so this is how we can do it. We can compile it, run it, and see the result. The result is a 14, which is a perfect example, perfect result. And by the way, if I had actually used a unary operator here, for example, I'm using only x over here, and then I write x plus plus, which is a unary operator. I don't need a typecast here, and then I try to display x. Is there any problem? Is it showing any error here? No, because x, which was a short variable, is now being using a plus plus operator, which is a unary operator. So the promotion of short to int happens only when it uses a binary operator, plus, minus, multiplication, division, or whatever it is. Okay, next is short plus byte will give you an int, short plus short will give you an int, and so on and so forth. Display using print and println. Okay, how to do this? You may use any of the following functions to display something on the screen: system.out.print and system.out.println. Okay, you can see that system S is capital, rest everything is small, and in println also system S of system is capital, rest everything. The difference between system.out.println and print is that when you give the print statement, it displays something on the screen and keeps the cursor on the same line. So that means if you display anything after print, it will be displayed in the same line, and if you display anything after println, it is displayed in the next line. I think you have done all this, so I am not explaining it any further. Combining various data types. Now, very important, all numeric data can be combined using any arithmetic operator, and among numeric types, data type is double type is considered the highest and byte the lowest. We have done all this earlier also. Now if you combine these data types in an expression, the resultant data type will always be of the higher data type. Okay, so that means if I add an int value to a float value, the result will be a float value. If I add a double to a float, the result will be a double value. So naturally the higher of the two. Int plus double plus long plus short will give you a double value. Okay, you may combine all the following using the plus operator. Now, in the previous slide we did all arithmetic operators. Now I am talking only about the plus operator. Using the plus operator, you can combine string, all numeric types, and the char type. Okay, so that means you can add char types, numeric types, and string. That means all types except Boolean. Out of the 8 primitive data types, you can use everything else except boolean to add. String will be considered the highest of all. So that means if you add a string with any of these, anything will be converted to a string. So that means if you add a string to an int, it becomes a string. If you add a double plus a string, it becomes a string. Okay. Let us see this program. In this program, we are actually using a plus sign to add a string, that is this is, which is a string, to a number which is 2. 2 basically is an int value. So I'm basically adding a string with an int. So when you add a string with an int, how does it add? It actually converts the entire thing into a string. It actually joins everything, and the entire string actually becomes this is 2. Okay, so that means when it will display this message, it will display this is 2. Alright, I'll not run this program at the moment. Let us proceed further. For example, if I write this is 2 plus 4. Now if I do this, what is going to happen? The first this is plus 2 is going to result in something like this is 2, and then we have a plus 4. So that means this is 2 is a string now, to which 4 is now added. What is this going to result? This is going to result in this is 2 4. The entire thing becomes this is 2 4. So that means the final thing that is going to be displayed using this statement is this is 2 4. Okay, so let us run this program now and see what does it display. So let us compile it. Let me run this program and let us see the result, and it displays this is 2 4. Okay, now suppose this is 2 plus 4 had been written before, so it is actually this now. Okay, so it is now not this is plus 2 plus 4, it is 2 plus 4 plus this is. What is going to be the result now? The result now is going to be 6 this is. So how is it going to be this? Because the first plus sign is actually adding two numbers. So addition of two numbers, 2 plus 4 becomes a 6. Then if you add that 6 to a this is, it becomes 6 this is. So let us run this program and see what happens. So the result is 6 this is. Okay, let me take this back to the original program, and I add plus 2 plus 4. Now if I put brackets here, what is going to be the result now? Now you can see that because I put this expression in brackets, this expression is going to be executed first. That means this plus sign is going to be executed first, and then this plus sign. So naturally this is going to display this is 6. So when we run this program, it displays this is 6. Okay, I hope these are clear to you. This was very important for you to when you need to display stuff. Okay, next is input using buffered reader class. So what do we mean by input? Input actually means taking input from the user. So that means the program is going to work on data, and the data is going to come from the user, not from within the program. Okay, for example, in a program, if I write int x is equal to 2, where is the 2 coming into that variable x? It is coming from within the program, isn't it? But what if I need to take it from the user? That means the program is not going to have data, it is going to take it from the user. It is going to be using, first of all, using a buffered reader class object. So first of all, create an object of buffered reader class, and this object will be used to take input using readLine function. Now readLine function always takes input from the user, and that input comes as a string. For example, if the user writes 23, that 23 is going to come as a string. If somebody writes 23.7, 23.7 is going to come as a string. So everything is a string. How do you create an object? This is the statement to create the object. I will not explain further, this is already done by you. How do you take input of a string? So suppose you have a string variable called s and you need to take input, you will write string s is equal to br.readLine function, where br is the object which was created in the previous line. If you need to take it as an int, then you will take as int I is equal to integer.parseInt and then brackets br.readLine function. So that means br.readLine function is going to take an input as a number, as an int, and parseInt is basically going to convert that string input that was taken into an int value, and that will be stored in I. Similarly, for double, you use double.parseDouble, for long, long.parseLong, and for float, float.parseFloat. Second is a scanner class. So how do you use scanner class? Again, you create an object, scanner sc is equal to new scanner system.in, a shorter version of the creation of object rather than as compared to a buffer reader class. Now, with using sc, you can use all these functions, that is next boolean, next byte, next double, next float, next int, next line, next long, next short. All these you can use to take input from the user. Okay. Now, this is all that we are going to do today. Alright, I hope whatever we did today is clear to you. I will be uploading this separately because this is a larger file. I don't want to use the other system for it, and I will also be sending you some questions which you need to do in your notebook. Thank you and have a nice day or night, whatever it is.